Is it possible for a film to be funny and scary at the same time? I mean something that is genuinely funny and thematically scary and cohesive, not just a bunch of shocking jokes to scare you momentarily, but something that fits together well. I think the best example of that is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein from 1948, where you had the great comedic duo of Abbott and Costello, and then you had the universal classic monsters, Wolfman, Dracula, and Frankenstein's monster, played by people like Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr., and Glenn Strange. And they took those monsters seriously, but also had the laughs from the Abbott and Costello team. This is a special alfresco edition of the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. My closet's over there somewhere, out of commission, but it's still filled with all the stuff that I love. And today we're going to look at two earlier films that feature the same comedian and the same leading lady and attempt to be both funny and scary at the same time. Do these films succeed? Let's find out. The first one we're going to look at is The Cat and the Canary from 1939. Now this stars Bob Hope. Now Bob Hope's comic persona was sort of a cowardly guy who's nervous all the time, but he likes the ladies. And in this film, he is also the romantic lead. Now, I don't know, but I don't think the comedians should be the romantic lead. I think they should not get the girl, but, so I don't know how well that works for me. Hope plays a radio star, and he's one of the relatives who has to go to this very spooky mansion to hear a will read. The guy who owned it was one of his relatives, and he passed away 10 years earlier, and now it's time to hear the will. The look of the film is pretty good. It's somewhat atmospheric in certain parts. Mostly, though, it's pretty stagey, and that, of course, is because it was based on a stage play, and you can really tell the staginess of it. The leading lady is Paulette Goddard, and she's Hope's love interest in the film, and she turns out to be the sole heir of this mansion. I think the bottom line is Hope does have screen presence, of course. You're always kind of wondering what's he going to say or do next. Whether any of that is really that funny, I think we'll get to at the end of this video. And he does have some chemistry with his leading lady, Paulette Goddard. The Cat and the Canary was such a hit that they followed it up the next year in 1940 with a much better film called The Ghostbreakers. It's also based on a play, but it's definitely not as stagey as The Cat and the Canary. It's more of a film, really. The special effects are good. It's shot well. In fact, the cinematographer was Charles Lang, who also shot great films like Ace in the Hole, The Big Heat, Some Like It Hot, Magnificent Seven. This one stars Bob Hope and Paulette Goddard once again. This time they're visiting a haunted castle that she inherited, and it's in Cuba. There's a final sequence that's really well shot. It's atmospheric. It gets kind of scary for that time, especially with a zombie and some special effects with ghosts. So they pull it off pretty well. Much more entertaining film, but they're both entertaining. Afterwards, Hope did the successful series of road movies, and I have a set here that looks like this. These are the ones he did with his partner Bing Crosby, and there's 4 road movies in here. These are kind of tricky to find, but you might be able to find them, or you can find them streaming. And he lived to the ripe old age of 100. Paulette Goddard, she has more to do in The Ghostbreakers. She was married to Charlie Chaplin for a while, and you can see her in Modern Times and in The Great Dictator. But back to The Ghostbreakers. The best thing in this is a gentleman named Willie Best. He's the standout. He's got the best lines. He has the best delivery. He gives the funniest performance. He is sort of the voice of reason, and it kind of represents what the audience is thinking throughout the film. The problem is Willie Best was a black person, and he is one of those unfortunate stereotypical black characters that you see in some of these old films. Hope actually praised him as the best actor he ever worked with, and he was starred in a lot of films with comedy legends like Laurel and Hardy and Harold Lloyd. But yeah, there are a lot of cringe-worthy moments, cringe-worthy lines that are not acceptable. And he also, in his career, went by the nickname of Sleep and Eat. Now, if you've seen the Spike Lee film Bamboozled, which was all about these black minstrel shows and the blackface and the stereotypical black characters in the past, one of the characters in Bamboozled is named Sleep and Eat. So Spike Lee was obviously aware of Willie Best. He died much too young at age 48 after starring in over 100 films. He had a drug abuse problem, and he was actually buried in an unmarked grave. So years later, though, his fans chipped in and bought him a proper gravesite. So let's return to our original question. Can a film be both genuinely scary and genuinely funny at the same time? Well, looking at these two films, they're kind of funny, they're kind of scary. Woody Allen always said that he thought Bob Hope was underrated as a comic actor. I don't know if he does it for me that much. His road movies, I think, are a little looser. He breaks the fourth wall a lot, talking to the camera, commenting on the action. Some of the jokes and references are a little dated at this point, but those are fun, but those are totally different movies. So I think you be the judge. They're both fun, entertaining. They look great. These are fairly new releases on the Kino label. They're like $10 each. The road movies might be a little more expensive or difficult to find. Of course, all this stuff you might be able to find streaming. Anyways, I thank you for watching this video. Feel free to leave a suggestion or a comment. Leave a thumbs up would be great. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share it with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.